As we move to this wonderful new change in Washington, I am very excited by the discussion. I recall being asked by one of President-elect Obama's aides early on if I had any request for how the President-elect, who was then a candidate, might talk about issues in the city of Atlanta. And of course, you know me well enough to know I always say water. Water is always on my list. But my primary concern was that we would have in the Congress, in the Senate and the House, as well as in the White House, a potential partner for American cities, both Atlanta and other cities throughout the state of Georgia, where is my primary focus, but also for other American cities. And my one request is that he would talk about cities and urban policy. And indeed, he did so as a candidate, and I'm very, very pleased that we're going to see an urban policy advisor in the White House that will allow for the continued dialogue about the issues that are facing cities. Most people live in cities in the United States. Most people work in cities in the United States. Much of the wealth is generated in cities from business and investment. And it seems to me that America has to have a strong urban policy, because I believe that as cities go, the American economy will go. As American cities go, the stronger American cities are, the stronger Atlanta is, the stronger Georgia is. The stronger Georgia is, the stronger Atlanta is. So it's reciprocal. But very much so, the economy is driven by the economic activity that takes place in cities. And cities are different from exurbs and suburban areas and rural areas. And that is not to diminish at all the important role that other parts of the country play. But it is to say that you cannot, I don't believe you can have an effective policy for this era in American history without having strong urban policy. So I am delighted to be here. I have many passions. The first 20 are all related to water and sewer. And often I'm asked the question, what is the hardest thing I've done, or what am I most proud of? And indeed, I am proud of this community for tackling water infrastructure in a way that is painful to us, that is disruptive to us, but that ultimately will strengthen our economy and make us a stronger community and more viable and sustainable. So I am most proud of that. It is by far the hardest thing that I have done in public life, and this is my 20th year in public life. 13 years with Andrew Young and Maynard Jackson, and now 7 years as mayor. So of all of the things I've ever been associated with, this has been the hardest. And we would say it's because it's buried and people take it for granted. And there is such an underinvestment in water infrastructure. There's underinvestment in America in infrastructure, but water infrastructure suffers very greatly. So thank you very much. You're talking to the sewer mayor.
Thank you very much, Mayor. And we have a few questions now for you, as you may not be surprised to know. And I will start off with an easy one. What is the most surprising thing you have learned about being a mayor?
The most surprising thing I've learned about being a mayor, I've been surprised a number of times. I guess the most surprising thing I've learned about being in public life as an elected official is how much access people want to your life. And you notice I didn't say the challenges of privacy. It's just that people want to interact with elected officials. And I have found one of my favorite stories was just recently. I'm getting on a very scary roller coaster at Disney World. I'm scared to death. I'm with a 9-year-old who's really thrilled. And the person behind me is from metropolitan Atlanta. And they want to start talking about something in metropolitan Atlanta, and I am trying to, some issue, and I'm trying to calm my nerves so that I just don't completely go crazy. That is what I mean by that. It's not bad. It's just a lot. People want ready, instant access and engagement. And that was surprising to me. I thought I would have a little more space.
Next one have to do a little bit with crime in the city of Atlanta. Mayor Franklin, I love living and working in downtown and midtown, but I'm worried about
Want my glasses?
crime. Well, I may need them. Worried about crime and homelessness. What's the plan?
Well, that's a great question. I brought a lot of crime stats, but let me just tell you overall. The city of Atlanta 20 years ago should have had 2,000 police officers. Those 2,000 police officers could be the full complement of services one needs to have a safe city. Some of it is police visibility, and some of it is investigation, follow-up, fugitive squad, all sorts of other activities. For reasons that are not worth describing today because it'd take too much time, we didn't do that. So when I came into office, we had 1,423 police officers in 2001. In addition to that, we had an administration who would not even talk about how many officers we had. And as a result, there was this great distrust. We had crime rates where Atlanta was ranked on a per capita basis annually as first, second, or third most violent city in America for 10 years. And there was occasional reporting of that. But it was reported only when the statistics came out and then people went back to their business. So it became really clear in order to address the crime rate, we needed leadership, we needed a plan, we needed investment in equipment and technology. But it also was true that we needed an investment in people. And instead of picking the number ourselves, we went out for an outside consultant. The results of that are that among violent crimes, the crimes are lower today than they were in 2002. Instead of being first, second, or third, we're 15th, 16th, or 17th. In addition to that, we've been able to hire another 300 police officers. And those police officers, for the most part, are on foot patrols. How many of you realize that for 25 years Atlanta had no foot patrols? There were no foot patrols in Atlanta for 25 years. Air conditioning came to Georgia. Everyone got in a car. Andrew Young introduced some bikes, but not sufficient to cover every neighborhood. We reinvested in foot patrols. So the answer to that question, shorthand, is we have to increase our investment in public safety.